Greetings, body jugglers. This is Satek Ananda from the world famous body juggling Zendo in Dallas, Texas. Well, you know, you gotta believe it to make it real.
Exactly. I believe it.
And we are working on session 19 with Yvonne, finishing up styling her dragonfly form. We are going to do it to Portishead Glory Box, which I never did figure out why they picked that name for the track. And luckily, you are a technophile and can hopefully navigate the whole YouTube thing of like why I put a video up with a song from Portishead or like Moby or whatever, and then they like turn it off. But then like all these kids have their dance videos with the song on it. Like, okay, so like I don't get why sometimes they're like no, and then like all these videos, like millions of hits, they're like, yes.
I get a few secrets.
Right, exactly. And I know that one of them is putting in the description like a credit to who the artist or whatever. I've seen some people do that.
Well, they do it, but they will tell you in the thing that says, this absolutely will not help you get the song.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I've seen people do it, and then they put a link to buy the song on iTunes or whatever, like on Amazon inside, like right inside the description. So we'll figure that out.
And I know how that happens too, because if you buy it, like I just bought 2 songs that they did recognize the third party. I had to go and say, I bought these, showed them that I did, and so they will take off that and put the link there. So,
well, when you say you bought the track, you mean you paid for the track itself, like 99 cents?
No, I paid from Shutterstock Music. It's a lot more money than 99 cents.
Oh, got you. So
but it gives you a license to use it.
Got you.
For certain things, and on the web, it's endless. You can't, of course, you can't sell it to somebody or things like that.
Right, it's a license.
It's a limited license
to play it. And what's an average price for that?
It's about $50. Now, if you want to pay for the better license, which I think means you would use it in a film or something like that, it's about $200 or $300.
Right.
Gives you more options. But if you're just using it for a track on YouTube, you can do the $50 one, and you can use it, they said, on the same project. So I'm going to call, if I use it more than once on the body juggling bar, that's the same project to me.
Gotcha. Got you. Awesome. So we'll let you know how that goes. And this actually sets us up for a course and a product that I've been developing for a long time that you might be a perfect candidate for. It's called Fitness Video Guru, and it's all about how to do all of this stuff that I do for yourself. And it came out of having to teach body juggling instructors how to make videos and promote themselves to get clients. And I realized all fitness instructors need to know how to do that, because the tools are so cheap and easily available.
So true.
You know, your $200 iPhone is going to shoot a better image than a $500 camera from several years ago.
Isn't it?
It's really ridiculous. The tools are so ubiquitous. All you need is a smartphone and a laptop, and you can build an entire media, catalog. Between YouTube, Hangouts, Vimeo, PayPal, and there's 5 specific platforms that I teach in this course. We focus YouTube, PayPal, and then WordPress.
Oh, yes.
So each one of those is a different piece in the puzzle, and to work most effectively, you connect all of them. And my thing, and I hesitated to do this program for a while because my videos don't have 100,000 hits or 1 million hits or whatever. But
you've got so many.
Yeah, I do have a whole lot of videos. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
But the thing is that I have earned money from those videos, whereas I have a buddy with like 5 million hits on a Tai Chi, funny thing he did 5-6 years ago. He's never made a cent off of it. So one of the things I teach, it's not about views. Views do not equate to money unless you're trying to get pennies per view or per click or whatever, which is not going to add up to much unless you're getting 1 million or 2 million hits per whatever. So what I do is teach how to use it for actual prospecting, to actually generate clients that turn into real revenue. So this actually, like what you're going through with this, and then we're gonna put together your video, we're gonna do the music, we're gonna see what it takes to make it stay online or whatever. Like this is a whole lot of the same stuff that we're doing. So so yeah, we'll talk more about that, and then you guys can see how that develops as we do it. One thing I want to hit on before we jump into you moving is the stuff we talked about last week, which is either there's two separate aspects to everything, everybody that worked with on the bar. There's one, it's like the physical skill and like learning the power, learning grace, learning how to create a powerful presentation. But then there is the back side of that, which is the internal things, what's going on inside with your mind, with your body, with your heart. And when you came, you were very, very clear with me, certain patterns that you've had in your life that you would like to be different, right? And so once we finish this Dragonfly process and get the production done, we're going to shift into more of that, you know, as well as you've expressed interest in the contact improv work. And I know that your soul is a dancer and you've just been waiting for an excuse and a way to do it.
Yep.
So I want to take you into more modern dance types of practices and explorations to help you create your own vocabulary, whether it's with the bar or without the bar, help you tap into how to express those things. But at the same time, we're going to start to dig into these patterns that you've talked about of needing approval, which everybody has that to some degree, but yours has been very, very strong your whole life, to addiction, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it was food or whatever, and you kind of
is.
Well, that's an interesting question. Do you still consider yourself addicted to food? Because obviously you've done a good job at managing your relationship to it since
I feel like I
surgery.
am a food addict, always can be, will be, but I feel like I have done the work, and I want to say a recovering food addict, if you want to say it that way. But
Gotcha.
because, you know, if I let myself, you know, go there and start with one cookie, it's not going to be one, it's going to be two. So I can't have any cookies. So, and I'm cool with that now.
Yeah, and I've learned my patterns with that too. I don't buy powdered donuts anymore.
I know, because you can't eat just one.
You can't eat just one. It's not possible. Okay, so we got this need for approval that has affected your life in ways that I'm guessing you probably still haven't even realized or seen, but it's affected it in ways that are very obvious. The addiction, which has been, of course, more than just food, right? Like typically an addictive personality, you struggle with an addiction with more than just one thing. Have you dealt with that with addiction, or has it just been food?
Not.
Really?
Yeah, it's just, that was my drug of choice. And now in my family, there's others that had many drugs of choice, and my brother was way worse than I was because he was on crystal meth. So, but that's the only one that, you know, I don't particularly like alcohol.
Gotcha.
And now I will say this, I joke about saying that I try not to try too many new things because I'm afraid I might go off on a, you know, but then there's good things like trying this.
Right.
And, you know, so I've loved this. So
that's what we want to do, is we want to cultivate positive addictions. We want to cultivate addictions that make us feel the way we actually want to feel, rather than distracting us from how we don't want to feel. So those are two. Is there anything else of the patterns in your life that you know you would like to change or be rid of? We've got need for approval, addiction. Is there anything else?
I think that's pretty huge.
Those are the two main. Okay, so you're taking part in the Effortless Being stuff. You haven't been here for a couple of weeks. Have you watched the last week, and then you're going to do it
I will see
online?
Last week's before I get online tonight.
Okay, awesome. Because these are the tools that are going to allow us to make these kinds of shifts. And the beauty of it is it happens so naturally, so effortlessly, as long as we accept. If you resist what you're feeling, if you resist the need to cry, if you resist like sometimes people need to scream, people have thrown up before, like resisting whatever needs to happen is part of the repression, part of that energy that keeps you hiding something from yourself. Tonight we're gonna finish up with our lessons in emo trance, And then next week, we're going to get into voice dialogue, which is going to be very, very important and powerful for you, as well as everybody else involved too. That teaches you how to let your archetypes actually speak, actually express themselves. And when you do that, I saw that breath. When you begin to let those archetypes, the patterns inside your mind really express themselves, it gets much harder to repress because you see how easily things can come out. Okay. Right? It's a powerful and beautiful process, trust me.
I'll trust you.
You're good at trusting me, which is why we work well together. All right, so we're going to start today. You have not done multi-ball yet, have you? 2 balls.
Yes.
You have.
Uh-huh.
You have. Okay, awesome. So I don't need to demonstrate it for you. We're going to start with 2 balls again. Okay. Or do you want me to demonstrate?
No, I can.
Okay. It's the exact same thing as just everything we do with the warm-ups. It's about finding stretches. It's about feeling good. And it's about exploring. It's not about creating a dance. It's not about being pretty. It's not about whatever. The one thing that I want to see, though, and I talked a little bit, did you get to watch last week's session where you were freestyling without the ball and then with the ball? Did you see the difference that I was talking about? Yeah. There was a freedom and a spontaneity in your movement where I could tell you were connected to what you were doing, not thinking about what to do next. Right. And when you got on the ball, you did a lot of pretty things, but it wasn't that same connection of I'm in this feeling and I can, and like, when you do a stretch, like, are you feeling the stretch or are you just kind of doing it and then looking to go to that next thing? Yeah. I'm glad you were able to see that because that's a difference that if you can see it is easy to change and tap into. Well,
I felt, like I say, I felt restricted because you said you wanted me to, what was it? Touch the floor or
the weight, but you were restricted before I gave you that. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that one.
I felt even more restricted then. Right. Because it felt like I couldn't do anything where I was on the ball, even though I was stretching, but I wasn't touching the floor. I might have been using the bar or. So
here's what happens to everybody, and it's going to happen to you, especially because of your patterns with approval. When you start any exercise with a seed idea, here's what we're going to try to accomplish. If I can see that your body isn't getting it, I'm going to give you I'm going to give you suggestions to help you get there. Okay. If those suggestions get caught in your mind and you struggle with those, then you're going to get further away from that authentic, soft, beautiful, connected, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you created a boundary in your mind about like, wait, what am I supposed to be, this and whatever? All I'm talking about is seeing and feeling your weight because everybody gets on the ball and they do this. And they're holding themselves up. There's only so many things you can do, holding yourselves up. But when you let yourself come down, the feeling of what's happening here is so different to the feeling of this. Yeah. And I get a million more options when I allow myself to connect with the floor as well as the bar. It's like the floor is not lava. The game is not to not touch the floor. The floor is a tool we can use, just like the ball is a tool and the bar is a tool. So we want to learn to let all of those talk and connect. And when we do, I'm not ever thinking about what I'm going to do next because I'm feeling what's happening right now. And that feels good. And that feels good. And that feels good. You know? Yeah. So what amuses me about this is the options of what is possible is literally infinite. But everybody comes to it and they have no idea what to do. What do I do? And it's because the options are infinite. So the exercises create smaller boxes so that we know where and how to play. As we do 2 balls, you're going to do 2 balls today. Okay. It's the exact same thing. Feeling gravity, using the floor whenever, but literally allowing yourself to feel all the possibility. Whoa! And when you do 2 balls, you don't have to stay connected to both balls the whole time, but try to incorporate them as much as you can. Okay. So we're going to start out there with our warm up, and then we'll get into our form.
Wait for you to start.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Remember, anything that feels good is always going to look good, so you always want to focus on what you're feeling. Learn to make your body feel good. And it always looks good. So I'm going to give you a couple more minutes to just find your own thing, find your own stretches, then I'm going to start giving you games. One game at a time is going to teach you different ways to interact with these two supportive creatures. They're there to make you float and dance. So what you just did is called a transition. You took your body's weight from one ball all the way onto the other ball. That's one of the games we're going to play, so play with transitions right now. Okay, now transition. Now notice what your arm did on that ball. Now you switch, now transition again. Yep. So as you transition, you still stay in contact with the ball you leave. And that contact can be with your back, it can be with your arm, it could be with your leg. And always notice how you finish a transition, because how you finish a transition, you can use that to start a transition. So for example, if you transition right now, see how you came off with that arm? It's almost a transition.
Almost.
So in that way, if you do that again, you're going to come off with your arm. And you can use, whoa. Okay, get on both balls on your side and do the side transition. Your challenge there is you're trying to transition from your back. Yeah, and ideally you should go on the other side of the bar.
Of course.
So scoop both balls to the other side of the bar, keep facing me, and then do a transition on your side, let your right arm follow. All your weight under that ball. So take all your weight under the other ball. Now use that arm to go back. Okay, so now almost everything you've done with 2 balls has been laying down.
Yeah.
Now I want you to transition and come sitting up. Okay, let me show you one. Yeah, there you go, there you go. Yeah. So one of the things you got to pay attention to whenever we're creating anything, getting stuck in patterns. So you were stuck in a pattern on your back.
Yes.
Same thing, same thing. Until you realize you can do a transition staying up, that's not even an option. Right. And we used to do this forward, forward.
Oh, okay.
One example of how to transition staying up. Try that for me.
Okay. I had to keep moving my body.
So whenever you're transitioning, you got to use one part of your body to connect with the other ball, and then let your body fluidly transfer from one, to the other. Good. So that's a ball transition. So now use both balls to transition to the other side of the bar. However it needs to happen. I want to see how your body solves the challenge. But then I want you to come back up also. So you're not sticking that good. And then transition again, other side of the bar. Yeah. So learning to switch sides of the bar, very important to keeping our options open. And learning to change which ball our weight is focused on, another very important aspect. Also, so far you've been doing everything off the ground. Once again, you don't have to do that. Even with 2 balls, you can still let a foot come down. As soon as you let yourself connect with the ground, you'll find more options of how to play with these 2 shapes. And yeah, you did do a little bit on the ground because I remember your foot being tucked behind you and it looked like a really awesome stretch. Nice transition. You don't have 2 balls at home, do you?
No.
Took you enough.
Oh, I do.
Took you enough work to get 1 ball.
I do have the old one that I had from my original BodyJuggling, and it's almost as big, so I think technically make it work fairly well.
You can get 2 balls. I'd like you to start playing
Okay.
2 balls for warm-ups.
Okay.
Because now we're going to take 1 away.
Okay.
And I want you to freestyle warm up with 1 ball for Okay, just a couple minutes, now we're going to freestyle with 1 ball. And I want to see the connection. I want to see what you're feeling in your movements. Let the rhythm affect you or not, whatever feels right. When you're freestyling, there's no such thing as mistakes. Freestyle is an exploration. Right. Good, come up to sit. Okay, sit on the ball, and it's going to be a really quick exercise in the rhythm. Okay, I want you to hear the rhythm of the song, and I want you to show me some part of your body moving with the rhythm. That doesn't mean you got to do a trick or like whatever. I'm not concerned about that. I want to see this or this. Right, go to the top. Once you know you found the rhythm, then you can expand that rhythm in any direction. But I want to see the rhythm first. Shoulders, hips, arms, head, I don't even care. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, good. Come up. Now, I don't want any tricks. I want any movement. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2. Yeah, it's hard to not go into it. It is hard. It's hard to not go into acrobatics. Everything you're doing was cool, but as soon as you start doing acrobatics, you lose the. So try and contain the acrobatics. If you end up doing it, that's okay. Last time. So. Okay. So So before you start using your body, one hand on the bar, the hand that's not on the bar, I want to see that hand move as many ways as you can, but to the rhythm. One hand, just the hand. Okay, that's good. That's going to the melody. That's lyrical. Okay, but I can see the rhythm in it. Now do it percussive. Like this. That's the rhythm. I'm seeing that now. Right? Now change it, and keep the same rhythm. Different movement. So that's back to lyrical. Make it percussive. Percussive is good. Other arm. Yep. Yeah. Good. Both hands on, one leg. Feeling the rhythm. Yeah, good. Once you let yourself get into the groove of rhythm, you don't think about what you do because the rhythm just carries you and leads you. And that's what we're going to start to move you into. Did you feel the difference? Awesome. We'll figure out how to combine that with our tricks. That was good. That's awesome. Rhythm is it's wicked. It creates a groove, creates a tunnel, and you just go into it.
Not feel it.
Yeah, and you go into it and just takes over. Okay, from the top. And like always, I'm going to give you at least 2 times all the way through without any feedback. Just let you get the feel, let you get into it, and then we'll start refining. Sweet. Okay, here we go. I'll start it over. It was quiet. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry. Try to turn it down a little bit. Study. Let's go from the top here.
You don't know what?
I don't know if Dave is studying. But yeah, this you hit volume down and literally
It starts over.
Here we go.
I'm so tired of playing it so fast down the road. Gonna keep my heart away. Even if I love you today. For I've been attention too long. Yeah. Give me a reason to love you. Give me a reason to believe. and reach out to this new frame of mind.
Good.
Rather than perfect
Does that help? Because I can leave it out here.
Yes.
That blue ball's not here.
No.
I'm so tired of playing it somewhere down the road. Gonna keep my heart on me, even to the other to play. Well, I've been attention to it all. Yeah. Give me a reason to love you. Give me a reason to leave. I just saw you. Unchained, all looking at a different picture. This new frame of mind.
Okay. Good. So all we got is a few things that I'm going to slide the timing out a little bit to create accents on certain places. For example, and I'll give you cues when we're going through it. I want this flourish to be even slower, and we have had you starting to come back on the next line. I want you to wait for a few, like literally like 2 or 3 words into the line to come, because I want this to be a little bit faster, to be able to come through this without being slow, and then it slows down again here. You know what I'm saying? So I want more speed right in here. Then when you hit woman, hold on woman for an extra second or 2, because this whole thing is happening really slow all at the same pace, and I want it to start slow and let's focus on those 2 hits first. Ready?
I'm so tired of playing it somewhere down the road. Gonna keep my heart on me, even to the other to play.
Slow, soft, and
Check it
then
out. Yeah. Give me a reason to love you.
soft, slow.
Give me a reason to leave.
Hold, and now go. Soft. on. Speed up a little bit. That was close.
Unchained, all looking at a different picture. You frame of my love.
Good. Nice, nice. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I'm so tired. I can't somewhere down the road. Gonna keep my heart away. Even to the other.
Soft, and hold for a second.
Give me a reason to love you. Give me a reason to I just saw you. Unchained, all looking at a different picture. You frame of mine.
Good. Okay, do inverted splits for me. I want to let you feel what I'm thinking on the speed of that. Inverted splits here.
Give me a reason to love you. Give me a
Okay, so start to come up slow. And that was too slow. So you gotta come out slow down. And then when you let go. I mean, when I say slow, I mean do it at your normal,
Okay.
your normal pace. Right there is where I want you to speed up just a tiny bit on that drop. Okay, so this, you're hitting just a little bit after woman here, but that's okay. That doesn't bother me as long as you're fully into this before she's done with woman. It works. Slow, soft, and then back to slow. So it's basically when your hand lets go, I want to see a little bit of speed. I want to see a little bit of the gravity. Oh, that's because of my shirt, but just want to see a little bit of gravity there. Well, no, I was meant for you to start at the beginning.
I'm so tired. I can't. If it's so down the road. leave it to the others to play. Well, I've been attention to it all. Yes. Give me a reason to love you. Give me a reason to believe. I just saw a big home. All this time, unchained. Oh, looking at a different picture. This new frame of life.
Okay, go back to your drip down. Go back to your forward fold, sorry. This work. No. Forward fold is this work. Coming into that, you drop it in kind of like that. Come back up. Go into that softly. Actually, start on this side on your knees. This side. You're going to do dragonfly, then your curl under. On your knees. Oh, what you can try, that's fine. Dragonfly, and then curl under. Soft. Okay, go back. When you're coming, no, back to forward fold. When you're coming out of that forward fold, scoot the ball back a little bit. When you're coming out of that forward fold, I want more softness, more slowness. Here, go. Yes. That almost always feels rushed. That's much more sensual. Do that one more time. Yeah, so you come into that and out of that forward fold really softly. We need to do something when you do your lazy pigeon. You're in and out too far that way and kind of pinched over there. So we need to do something to figure out how to get you more centered. Start sitting here on this side more. Do your inverted fold. Go ready to roll out. Soft. All together. Hold for a second when you're there. Come out really softly. Bring that foot down as close. Yep. That's better position. So always think about that foot coming real close to you when you do that twist out. At least one more thing. Oh yeah. So when you come up back to center from your side kicks, it feels like you've got this kind of thing going, so your butt's back and your chest is down in. Try coming back just like where you start. Instead of coming in over here, come right back to where you start. Try that for me one time and see what it looks like. Side kick on one side, back to center, and then to the other side. Yes, better. Feel the difference?
Yeah.
And you probably have to go a little bit slower than that for the beat, but that position is what I want. And from the top.
Sometimes I playing it so when down the road, gonna keep my heart away, leave it to the other.
Nice, nice, nice. Foot close.
Give me a reason to love you. Give me a reason to be a woman. I just wanna be a woman. On chain, all looking at a different picture through the same frame of mind.
Yeah, better. Nice, nice, nice. Stretch, rest for a second. Text 2 points real quick. What are you getting in the pool?
I saw 2 bars.
Say what?
I think I saw 2 bars.
Ah!
Are we gonna cut it off now and do something? Or
No, we're going some more. You just hit it really good, and so we need to give you at least 3, 4, 5 times feeling where all those pieces come, and then you can practice those. It's really feeling good right now. I think there was at least one thing on that last one that I wanted. Oh yeah, remember when you're coming this transition from lazy pigeon, your feet should be double shoulder width here, and you're almost always like this.
Okay.
So when that foot comes down here, that other foot reaches to there,
Okay.
and you should twist up and be here. You shouldn't have to move on the end.
Okay.
But after that, I think that was the only critique I had on that one. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so tired of playing in this land that will gonna keep my heart on me. Even to the other, still play. But I'm paying attention to it all. Give me a reason to love you. Give me a reason to be a woman.
Speak up.
I just wanna be a woman. All looking at a different picture through the same frame of mind. Flowers could bloom.
Nice. Yeah. Do you want me to close the door to turn the air on?
Yep.
Even though it's 74.
There are these lights.
Oh, right. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I'm so tired of playing this away down the road. Gonna keep my heart on me. Leave it to the other. For I've been intentions too long. Yeah. Give me a reason to love you. Give me a reason to be. I just wanna be a woman. Promise time, unchained. On the ground, reach out through the steam frame of mine. A thousand flowers could bloom.
Awesome.
Together, so
Okay, are you needing to be done soon?
No.
Okay, let's do at least 2 more. Okay. Don't want to kill you, but once you get it right, then you gotta do it and do it, or else you lose it. You know, it's like, you gotta drill it in where it needs to be. And four, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I'm so tired of playing this away down the road. Gonna keep my heart on me. Leave it to the other girls to play. For I've been intentions too long. Yeah. Give me a reason to love you. Give me a reason to be. I just wanna be a woman. Promise time, unchained. All looking at a different picture through the steam frame of mine. A thousand flowers could bloom.
Nice.
Together, so yeah.
All right, let's say 2 more times, and then we'll do a little stuff for that. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I'm so tired
2,
of playing
4, 5, 6, 7. Nice. So,
I just wanna be home. From this time, unchained, all looking at a different picture through this new frame of mine. A thousand flowers
good. So the only thing I'm seeing now is as you do your rollover from figure 4. And I remember trying to do this, and it was harder than I saw it in my head.
Correct.
But try to and
Right, to the
twist
music.
to make those beat to the music.
Well, I always step out on the beat. That time I messed up, but every time before that, I guarantee you it's stuck.
It's not a beat. It's just something that I keep wanting to feel.
Yeah.
One, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8.
I'm so tired of playing in the sun down the road. Gonna keep my heart beat, leave it to the others to play. For I've been attention too long. Yeah. Give me a reason to love you. Give me a reason to believe. I just wanna be home. From this time, unchained, we're all looking at a different picture through this new frame of mine. A thousand flowers
Good. And stretch. Relax. Breathe. Lay on the cold floor if you need to. Actually, I guess we should finish our broadcast before you lay on the floor.
Yeah.
High five.
It's only one I had.
Yeah, right. Real good work. Do you have any questions for where you're at right now?
Nope.
I'm real happy with what you got going on. Your rockabye was
Yeah.
a little iffy today, but I assume that's because you're feeling
And my
a
arm
little
is hurt
under
for some reason.
Got you. Okay, so
You're correct.
as long as that's not a normal, otherwise I would say practice your rockabye. But last time on the whole, well. So with the cognitive work that we were talking about, all we're doing is learning to see really clearly what thought affects what part of the body, okay? So for example, with your approval thing, there's always something that you're wanting, and that wanting is gonna create a feeling in your body. And what we gotta do is see what the things are that you want and where you feel them in your body. And when we connect those two and let that energy move, that process will shift. Now, for me, a very personal experience I've had with that sort of thing is with my music. And I had a conversation with my buddy in LA a few weeks ago. And I told him, I don't really play my music for anybody like, hey, will you listen to this song?
Right.
I play my music when I'm DJing at dances, like whatever, like I'll play it in the background if somebody happens to be over, whatever. But I never go, hey, I got a track, will you listen to it now, right? Do you know why the reason is?
I know why, because for the same reason I don't do it, because it doesn't matter.
I never get whatever reaction that I'm searching for, I never get it, okay? So like some people you can tell, they're even the greatest track in the world, when you ask somebody to actually listen to something, they're bored in 20 seconds. Like their mind's going, they're talking over it, like, you know, blah, 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 blah. So either that happens and I feel completely devalued as a creative person, or they say something like, oh, that's really good and that's really nice.
But you know, they don't mean it.
Well, even when they do mean it, it still doesn't give me whatever it was I was trying to accomplish by going, hey, check this out. You know what I'm saying? And so what I talked to you about last week is learning that the problem is not people not giving you what you want. That's not the problem. The solution is not figuring out how to get people to be different or act different to you. The solution is realizing what your mind wants to happen is the problem. Just like, you know, it's like kids are so clear with their emotions, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's brilliant. I love kids, and they want ridiculous things all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the beauty with kids is that they let stuff go really quickly and easy. They move on from it. Adults, we get stuck. So while a kid might want everybody in the room to give them attention, as soon as they don't get it, they move on and they fixate on this other thing. Whereas adults, we stay with that thing that we want. Now, whatever it is inside me that wants, like if I tried to paint a picture of what I want somebody to do when I play them a track, like, you know, it's like I'd have trouble even painting that picture.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, I just realized what I really want somebody to do is to not say anything and just start breakdancing. Like that's what I really want, is because that's when you know it's like felt.
I liked one of yours so much that I went and edited it long enough to where it might be a background for Dragonfly, because I liked it so much. And I loved your stuff. But I think the old cliche saying about, you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, I'm really, you know, about that, about art, photography, music.
Right.
When people, you know, as I call them, you know, art snobs, you know, they go, well, you know, that's not a good picture or photograph, or that's not a good song, or he's not a good guitarist, but yet they can't do it. You know, if I like it, it's beautiful. If you don't like it, I don't care.
Right.
You know, I won't make you listen to it. I may offer to share it with you and hope you enjoy it, but if you don't, that's cool.
But I want you to understand, though, that my point is not about music or even art. My point is about our internal desire for something external to happen.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the problem.
Yep.
That's the challenge. That's the pattern we have to change. And once we change that, and so it's like, it's not that I don't let my music be heard anymore. It's that I don't stop people and go, hey, listen to this and give me a high five because I need to know that I'm a good producer, like, or whatever it is that the ego is needing when it does that. I don't do that anymore. And now it's not an issue. Right. If it's playing and I see people dancing, that makes me happy. Like that's all I want, is for people to move. And if it's playing at home and somebody goes, who wrote that? Then it's like, awesome, that's mine, thanks. Yeah. But I don't need them to say anything else. The fact that they noticed and asked who wrote it, that's all I needed. But I don't get that if I ask, hey, will you tell me I'm pretty? Do I look good today? How does my waist look? Does my ass look big in this? You don't.
I don't get that. Why women ask that question?
Get it?
Never ask that question.
But so my point is not about art. My point is about desire, and it's learning to see our own desires. And when you can see it clearly, and this is what you'll get from the voice dialogue, when you learn to see it clearly, you don't have to make a value judgment. I don't judge the fact that I want a high five because I made a good track. That's not a bad desire to have. I just know that desire does not need to affect my emotions. It doesn't need to affect my actions. It's a thought. And then as soon as I let go of it, it's gone and it doesn't affect me anymore. And that's the process we want to do with your approval. while at the same time teaching you to give yourself approval, teaching you to pat yourself on the back. And your face, I can tell that's a rarity, but it's not hard to do. It's not hard to do. And you've already got the basis because you felt your chi. You can feel your energy. You can feel the space as you move through it. And once you do that, then I can teach you all kinds of ways to make it feel different ways. And I can teach you how to make your thoughts become emotional feelings through the same way we work with our chi, visualization, breathing, and we literally feel things moving and changing. Once you learn how to give yourself that same, I'm not sure, it's probably similar to oxytocin, whichever neurochemical is released from approval. It's probably similar to oxytocin. That's the one you get from physical touch. When you touch someone for more than 20 seconds, you get this hit of oxytocin, which literally makes you feel love. It makes you feel belonging. It makes you feel like okay and comfortable. Whatever that neurochemical is, your body creates that for itself, right? Whatever the circumstance is that happens, the circumstance doesn't create that chemical.
Absolutely.
And I can teach you how to do it. We just have to be specific about what are the feelings that you're lacking and how do we replace those with an internal experience. Once you got that approval inside, you don't need it from anybody outside. And anybody that gives it, one of my things with approval is it made me feel uncomfortable for a whole lot of my life because I was like, I'm a reformed egomaniac. And so the last thing I want is my ego to be like, yeah, look at me, I'm good. I don't need any more of that. I've been there, I've done that. It doesn't lead anywhere good, right? But I went to the other side of like being weird about approval. I'm like, oh no, and like I always had to point, no, that wasn't me. That was Native Instruments. They have really good sounds. They have good sounds. Nothing to do with me. I was able to get over that, and I'm still working on it because I catch myself occasionally, like, you know.
Well, I want to make clear that about my need for approval was more about that growing up. Well, growing up, I mean, from the time
Your father, right?
Well, until the time I was old enough to understand, until maybe when I was 33, when I left my hometown, I finally was free, almost. So, you know, it was basically that I was told every time, all day, every day, you know, you're not doing this, you're not doing this, you can't lose the weight, you know, you can do so many things, but never heard about the things I did. And that's why I learned to play all the instruments and all the stuff, because I was just trying to get approval from my dad. And you know, I finally got to the point where, like I told you before, that he said one thing to me about 5 years ago, and before it would have just killed me, but this time it was like, that's your opinion, and you know, that's cool.
Is your father still alive?
Yes.
And
he's mellowed a lot.
Okay, so he's less on the disapproval tip, but I'm guessing he hasn't switched over to the approval side.
He actually has, in the most part. I mean, the only thing he's gotten me for lately is the last time he saw me, he told me I was too tan. You know, gotta give me one little thing just to make sure it's still there, you know?
Always something with the critics.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, and yes. We'll keep moving. We are gonna figure out how to tell your story with body juggling footage. I think it'll be on a separate piece, either a freestyle or whatever, because this Glory Box is just working so well for Dragonfly. But the key thing that I want to stress is that it's got to be a deeper story than you've told before, because you've been telling the same story for a long time, and we have to let you grow out of that story. That story is not you. Okay, there's way more to you than you got surgery and lost a bunch of weight. There's way
That's
more.
only the story for the last 13 years, which is the only, I mean, it's sort of like you built this business and you've done this stuff, and that's been your thing, and that's my area of career sort of thing. So
I get the point you're making now.
But there's a whole lot of story that I used to be stuck in for 30 years when I was obese that I moved past.
Right. The thing with story, and we do need to touch on story because it gives us the elements that we need to make change.
Right.
But the deal with story is that it becomes your story. And every time you tell it, you reaffirm to yourself who you are and what your limitations are. And this is how this, and this is how that. one of your issues when you approached me was about your haters, right? Your haters are an effect of how you present yourself and how you talk about your story, okay? So if we want to deal with the haters, we have to deal with how you present yourself. You understand that? We talked about that last week. The haters hate for their own personal reasons, but they need something to hate on. They need something to latch to. And I've known you for actually way more years than I realized, like if we go way back to the first time you came to class. But I haven't known you long enough to know like how you talk to like wherever, but I know how you talk to me. And I know that if I were in a different point of life, I would have had a different reaction to how you've told your story to me and how many times you've told your story to me. And one of my whole problems with talk therapy is that it's almost like welfare, okay? Welfare is designed to try and help people.
Right.
But what it actually does is make you lazy and do nothing. And I've been on unemployment twice in my life, and I did nothing as long as I possibly could because it's a reward mechanism. You're like rewarding people to do nothing, right? Talk therapy rewards you for talking about your fucking problems. And then you get used to talking about your problems, and then you want to talk about your problems every time something comes up. That doesn't change the pattern. Telling the story doesn't change the pattern. When you're ready to change the pattern, you don't even need to tell the story. And I have a really good example of that. One of my favorite guys that does EFT works with a woman, has lifetime traumatic response to something she can't even talk about with going into the trauma. He does his whole EFT thing on her, releases the whole thing, and she hasn't even told us what it is yet. In 9 minutes, now she's clear, and she tells what the story was. He didn't even know what the problem was. And he released the pattern, released the fear. It was almost like a phobia. You know, it's what a panic attack is. It's just a different version of it. And he never even knew what the problem was, okay? So when you're ready to change patterns, the story doesn't matter. All the story does is keep you rooted. It keeps you going, this is why I am who I am. This is, you know, and my mother was as bad as anyone I ever knew. Any problem she had, well, you weren't, you know, abused at a, well, you weren't, you didn't have it, you didn't like, you know, like whatever. I could give you a whole list of the shit I did have, right? And I changed all of the habits, all of the patterns that came from those things that happened to me.
I think all parents end up telling their kids that, you know, you didn't have it like I did, you know. The whole thing about walking uphill in the snow.
In the snow, both ways.
Both ways. All we had to eat was dirt. And my dad really, truly didn't have shoes the entire year. I mean, he truly was that poor. But it doesn't relate when you tell your kids that, you know, they can't relate to that. And it's kind of a waste of breath to say, well, you know, you have life much better than I did. It's relative. So they don't understand.
My dad's favorite was do what I say, don't do what I do.
Oh, me too.
That's the worst parenting ever.
Yep.
All right, so now you got your hand free. High five, great work. Are we doing Thursday?
Yes.
Let's try to shoot Thursday. Oh, geez. Well, we'll talk some more because I gotta flesh out that last part to get to the chorus, and then you still have to learn it, so you won't be ready to perform that. But we'll focus on learning that Thursday, and then maybe shoot Tuesday.
Okay.
Awesome. Great work. Same bat time, same bat channel. Keep it up. Hit me on Facebook or email or text if you got questions. And peace out. Enjoy life. Live it. Peace.